Hello, this is Truth Be Told Transformation, and I'm Bonnie Burkert, here to share tools for transformation to live your highest truth. One thing that's true for me is that coming together, two are stronger than one. Coming together is really very, very moving, and nothing moves like music. So if we come together around music, I think that we can really hopefully change the world. We need that. So today on this special presentation of Truth Be Told Transformation, I've invited Dave Stringer and Sheila Nichols, artists from the Auricle Collective, who are going to be telling us about an upcoming 11/11 event in Los Angeles. It is called the Kirtan and Ecstatic Dance Concert at Center for Yoga. And that's, again, Saturday, 11/11. We're in 2023 right now. So let's have a little sample of the music they're going to play. Dave and Sheila, warm us up.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya 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 Jaya. Jaya 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 Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda.
Beautiful.
An extremely short version of what
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's one of the experiences with Kirtan, that this can go on, and by the song builds, right?
Yeah.
And we come together in unison, and one of the things you always say, Dave, is the audience joins the band.
Yeah, exactly. We become one really big band. If everybody's singing, who is the audience and who's the performer at that point? So for people who aren't familiar with Kirtan, what we're doing is inviting people to sing along. And Sheila and I were kind of mirroring what happens, but these things actually start slow and speed up. And a typical kirtan will last maybe 10 or 15 minutes, which is something we really can't quite replicate here.
Oh, yeah.
But it involves the audience participation, and this makes it totally different than most concerts.
Right, exactly. So tell me your hopes around this gathering on 11/11. We're calling the show Conscious Community. So again, I think we are at a time that we really need to raise consciousness more than ever. People are feeling scared and angry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing about singing with people is that it creates a feeling of connection that transcends, I guess, ideology, because it unites us in a common experience. And there's something that happens like neurologically, but also emotionally about it. Something about the kirtan, it doesn't require you to believe in anything. It requires you to have this experience of all these voices coming together, and that's a really powerful thing. It's useful for the world.
And Sheila, what's your experience? I know Dave for a long, long time, multiple Grammy nominee, and tell me your experience and how you came to kirtan.
Well, let's see. I think, Dave and I have known each other for about 30 years. And then I had my own tangent and had a record deal with Hollywood Records and wrote a lot of pop songs. And then I became very active in the agape community and sort of got sick of writing ooh baby baby songs and like songs about my personal, I suppose I feel like sometimes people mature as a songwriter, and I just I grew up essentially atheist, and then of course when you have a sort of a break in your life where stuff goes down, there's a inner journey that occurs, hopefully, right? And that certainly happened for me, and I think at that point I really started to write more into the spiritual realm, and defining what that could be for me. And Dave and I sort of re-met each other around that time, and we started doing a lot of singing and crossover with each other at that point. But we have been singing kirtan for a long time because I sang on Dave's first record, and so it's been in my life for a long time. Essentially via Dave. I think Dave's sort of a big conduit for bringing people to kirtan, which I love him for, because I think he has built this massive community essentially, and he is that kind of beacon that people. You're a beacon. You're a beacon.
You're a beacon.
Where
Dave.
people come to that. You know, he has a big light. Does Dave? Don't you, Dave? Big light.
It casts big shadows sometimes too. But,
So, I mean, I think this would be the perfect moment to talk about the Auricle Collective as well, and tell us your thoughts around that. I know we had a previous episode that we talked a little bit about it, but for the purposes of this upcoming event, we'd love to share what it is, and it's a great name.
The origin of this actually started in the pandemic when all of a sudden nobody could tour. A lot of the people that I know in the community, the kirtan community, you know, we'd see each other at festivals, etc., and there was a feeling of something that had come together coming apart. And I realized for myself that my art didn't mean anything without community. That, you know, I mean, I could continue to do it in my room by myself, but for it to have really any meaning, it has to connect. And there's something incredibly transformative about art, and particularly when it's practiced on a kind of a mass and community level. So we started pulling together. There was a project to get the Grammys to recognize chant as a form of music, and that took 2 years, but it involved organizing a lot of artists together, and we were ultimately successful. But the importance of it too is that for many listeners, I don't know if they understand how challenging the current economic climate is for musicians in terms of what the streaming services pay, or I should say don't pay. And so the thesis here is that a community of musicians can organize themselves to actually look after their own interests. So what we're proposing is a deeper connection between a community of musicians, between each other, but also with the audience. So and because our music is about like blurring the distinction between performer and audience, in some ways our economic model is proposing that as well. And what we're trying to do with this event is fund a platform that will resolve a world of chant into one place so people can find it, whether that's to find professional kirtan singers such as we are, or to connect with a local group in Green Bay, Wisconsin that's doing that's doing kirtan, or Brisbane, Australia, or wherever it's happening. So,
it's amazing, which it is happening. More music?
Sure.
I think it would be great. Tell us, set us up, and tell us what you're going to be playing now. And
you want another chant or a song in English?
I think a little of both, maybe.
Well, we'll do both. I've got this guitar in hand. Let's do another chant.
Yeah.
So we're going to sing Samba Sada Shiva. And
do you think this might be performed at the 11/11 concert?
It's possible.
Okay,
It's
all
possible.
right.
One thing I will tell you about the 11/11 concert that's unusual is that there's 24 different singers, all of whom have their own thing going on. And what we're doing is everybody's coming together to sing together as a sort of massive choir.
Yeah.
And we've asked people to put aside their own thing and instead to come together to sing something, to collaborate with people new, to actually risk something live in front of an audience, which could be thrilling. And there's always the risk
I
of
was going to
disaster.
say, I don't want to hear any but. I don't want to hear the caveats.
No, but I mean, it's funny. All these years, like leading kirtans, I've become comfortable with being essentially a conductor of chaos. And I just have to say that there's something really creative.
Exciting.
And exciting.
Yeah, exciting. Scary and exciting. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a Shiva chant, and Shiva is a way of addressing how the world comes apart in the process of coming together again. It says, see the divine in all aspects
All right.
of the world.
That's great. That's a great challenge for us right now.
Sahamba Sada Shiva Sahamba Sada Shiva Sahamba Sada Shiva Hara Shambhu Sahamba Sada Shiva Sahamba Sada Shiva Sahamba Sada Shiva Hara Shambhu
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So I know it took me a minute to understand all the Hindu deities. You're from the Midwest, fellow Midwesterner. You're originally from England and now you live here. How did you take to learning about the deities, knowing how to sing about them, right? Their meanings, their depth of meanings, and how to bring the right energy of your music to represent the deity that you're singing to, that you're asking of, perhaps?
Well, first of all, there's a bunch of different levels that you can experience this at. For me, during the time I was living in India, I actually didn't know much about this. I was kind of dumped into singing mantras without anybody actually explaining them to me. And the experience was powerful itself. There was a kind of a beautiful nonsense that allowed me to kind of be transported, that kind of resolved a lot of doubt and fear into something like ecstasy.
Yeah.
And so the act of chanting was itself transformative. As I got deeper into it, I realized that the mantras themselves represented different aspects of the universe. That was my way into it, as a kind of set of psychological metaphors. To sing to Shiva, for example, is to say, well, we're all concerned with trying to get it together, but shouldn't we try and also see the divine and things falling apart?
Chaos is a part of the universe, right? So
Can't have order without chaos, can't have life without death.
Right. So the mantras were saying embrace the totality of it, the beginning, holding it together, falling apart. And I found that really beautiful, I suppose, as a kind of refugee from a certain kind of Western spirituality. Like chanting mantras kind of filled in some gaps for me in some powerful ways. And also it created another way of experiencing the ecstatic voices together aspect of, if you go to church, you would feel that.
Yeah.
But it seemed without the baggage.
Dogma?
And the dogma.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think that, when we're talking about God, for me personally, there's only one oneness going on here. So all of the expressions of humanity asking these enormous unanswered existential questions, there's one vibratory evolutionary pulse that's occurring, whatever face there is. And I think that Dave touched upon it. You lose yourself in these when you sing mantra, and you no longer are engaging in the logical linear mind. The esoteric becomes real and tangible. And I think, I do a lot of teaching, and for me, I notice how much music is really the only space that children have that is not in the linear and the logical. And I think it's something we miss. So for me, dipping in there and having it's just such a privilege, and I'm so grateful. It allows gratitude to manifest and in that space, which of course is always healing. Takes you away from your little monkey mind, right?
Right. In so many ways, what we're doing is an inquiry into what is love and what is consciousness. We're not asking people to believe in things. We're asking people to have a transportive experience. And I think that accomplishes a lot more than a lot of arguments that we can have. And if people could actually come together and engage in more ritual or more art that creates common experience, that would be very useful. But yet art is often dismissed as something secondary, when actually it's essential.
It's essential. Yeah. It's essential. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. It's funny, I was taking a pause because I was thinking about some of the 2023 experiences with art and the community that came up around that Barbie movie. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
But it was pretty crazy because that became a community experience of art right there. And maybe you just think it's a pop movie, but people really came together and there was a message and people were responding and people were crying and people were gathering together and reflecting on their past. And it was just really amazing. So I think I'm just coming up with another current event example of art that was very moving for people of late. And so, and also we were talking about communal singing. I mean, think about it. There's nothing like going to a huge concert where you all love a band. I mean, it could be...
and everybody knows the words.
Right, and everyone sings together. And I mean, you
great.
don't even hear the band at that point. You're singing to each other.
Yeah.
And so, thank you for bringing it to us on lots of different levels.
Right. It reminds me, too, sometimes that, like, in the West, we have this focus on the individual, me, myself, my path, my experience. And but the thing is that when you sing with a large group of people, you realize that you're one voice in the choir, and the choir is mighty in a way that you never can be, and what continues is us. I mean, me, I'm temporary. Like humanity, well, might be temporary.
I know the way we're going.
The way we're going, but still, us extends beyond me.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do in terms of like how artists relate to one another as a community, how they relate to their audience, and how we even look after ourselves. And this applies whether it's kirtan artists or singer-songwriters or theater groups or groups of painters, etc. Art is essential, and yet it's very challenging to persist.
That's great. And again, I'll mention that the 11/11 event at Center for Yoga in Los Angeles is a benefit for what Dave and Sheila are working on with the Auricle Collective, and you can go to auriclecollective.com to get information on tickets and how you can get involved. And this is the first of many, so if you're not in LA, there will be other events all over the world, ideally.
Yes.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's the chant community is like a small town on a worldwide basis.
Nice. So, however, now you two also work in other genres of music.
Yeah, we write songs.
I've been trying to get Dave to put out an English record for years.
Yeah.
And so we...
And are you at last successful, Sheila?
Yeah, I believe we are. We just have to get it out there. And so I think we've made a fantastic record. I think it's... it'll be my fifth. It'll be your umpteenth millionth, right? How many records do you have now?
This would be the 11th.
Good
record.
grief!
Lucky 11.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a little bit.
I'm going to trash this and just look into your eyes for this one because I really just want to sing this one with you.
Oh, okay.
We're not trashing the harmonium, and it's just off to the side, a little bit. We're mixing up the instrumentation.
Sheila is also a very fine songwriter, and maybe we can do a couple things back to back here. But let's see. The thing is what we're motivated by together is we're asking essential questions, and for me, the essence of spirituality isn't one of finding answers. It's a process of asking those questions and how you ask them. So,
Thank you. I love that. That is a tool right there.
Yeah.
So this starts with a question. So.
Where am I from?
And what is my name?
An intricate story to tell. In myriad forms, the one is the same. What are the same? Well, and where is the drum that strikes up the beat
Of all of this music
and noise? The sigh and the hum that my heart repeats, and all of its sorrows and joys.
with a hiss
And a scream and a whistle of steam, a twine of chorus styles, imprinted in me like the sound of the sea in a shell. Listen, it springs with the rustle of wings as the hush falls on the crowd. I hear it whispering so loud as I'm breathing in. trees, the chimes that mark the days, the throb and the thrum and cacophony is every atom plays. The hammer is swung, the bellowing rise of the primal forges glow, till the anthem is sung in the tremolo tongue of a bell. Listen, it rings in the tension of strings, in magnetic dots they drums in my heart and guts, bones resounding and shimmering. Of the song that I sing, of all of my pleasures and cares, the intimate pulse that drives everything, always everywhere, always everywhere, always everywhere.
Bravo. The intimate pulse that drives everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's what we're addressing here.
right? I mean, that's, and tell me about your writing process, the two of you.
Well, we have come together here and there, but this is a record that's a collection of both of our songs. I mean, traditionally, I've been quite singular, in the sense that music really saved my life when I was a child. Really allowed me to separate myself from the drama that was going on at home, and in that respect. And I think that writing with people has been quite challenging. But I think Dave and I have a real sweet way of collaborating, that because we're on the same tip. I think you could call that song kind of wordy, but it's poetry. I think the lyric is so important. If you're going to sing something, have something to say of substance at this point, But anyway, yes, our writing together, I think, is really a good.
The words of that song actually came out of the sounds of the song. So it was a process of translating. Like, you want to make these. There were all these sounds in there, and it's like, well, what does that mean, right? Whereas Shield's process is a little bit different, and I don't know if we have time.
What
We're
are
going
you
to
gonna
close.
do?
We're going to sing your song, God.
We are?
Huh?
Okay, fine. Let's
Yeah, I would
Okay,
love to
okay.
hear one
Another
more, please.
song.
Right. So the thing is that Sheila and I really respect each other's process, and writing together is now an interesting challenge because we have different methodologies, and yet we're finding a common voice. And in some ways, that's the problem of the world writ small.
Yeah.
Is how do people collaborate, coming at it from different processes, my process is often super slow. Like, it's immediate, and then it takes a long time after that. Like, the song shows up in its kind of nonsense.
And you fine tune for a
and
long
then I
time.
fine tune
You spend
forever.
a lot of fine
Whereas
tuning.
Shield is like, bang, it's right there.
Well,
and then,
Not all the time. I mean, it depends. I mean, I think that for me, songwriting, very much you wake up in the morning and it can be like, whoa, I really have to, like, you have to go to the bathroom. You have to get this out right now. There's that kind of a song, and it just kind of flows. And then there's another song where you're like, hear a verse, and you're like, what the heck does that mean? It doesn't actually get completed until a couple of years later because you're not really sure what it means, and then you keep asking, and then it will follow through. But songwriting is always, for me, a really esoteric experience, which is why when I had my record deal with Disney, I'd be like, okay, you have to write another record in 6 months. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the commodification of art when it doesn't work. And I respect that part of me, so I don't push it. I let it happen when it happens,
Yeah, exactly.
But this song in particular is a
you
big
got?
deal for me because I told you I essentially grew up atheist. When you live in a world where there is when every person's an island and you're completely separate, there's a point, I think, where it starts to break down, because that's not the truth. It's not the universal truth, right? And so you suffer. And so for me, this was a way to deconstruct God and reconstruct it again in 3 minutes, essentially. That's what it is.
Brilliant. Okay.
Give it a whirl. Take it away, David.
Yeah.
God, so much baggage on that word. Yeah, I mean, so many different things to so many people. What is God?
God, maybe something infinite in all directions. Those perceived and unperceived alike.
Those perceived and unperceived alike. Infinite directions. Infinite directions. Dissolving into love without resistance, love without a cure, love everlasting, love forevermore, evermore, evermore.
God, maybe something that was never born, never dies.
Yet contains every birth and every death.
Every birth and every death.
Across the multiverse, beyond the boundaries of vocabulary,
Beyond the boundaries of dogma,
religion,
philosophy,
ownership.
politics.
Yeah, they all become temporary in the oneness of this God, dissolving into love without resistance, love without a cure, love everlasting, love forevermore, evermore, evermore. It's always been here.
It's always been here.
Always, 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 always.
Always been here.
Always been here. Always, always.
So to this
God, I can surrender into you. Sitting still distills the binary inside the mind.
deep inside the senses.
There's only sweetness, a love without resistance, love without a cure, love everlasting, love forevermore, evermore, evermore, evermore.
It's always been here.
Always been here.
Always been here.
Always, 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 always. God.
Wunderbar. Fantastisch.
Well done.
Thank you, love evermore. You two are such a beautiful example of harmony, and really, I know that's what your mission is with your music specifically, with the events and how you're trying to help the business side of being in music as well. So thank you so much to come, perform, explain it to us, and it's just so great to see you both, and I can't wait for the event, that's for sure.
Thank you so
Any
much. for having us.
parting
Thanks.
words? Just to, you know, I always like to ask, where are we at on planet Earth right now? So I know you want to give us something encouraging.
You know, it's funny. Some people are like, how can we have an event, you know, that's celebrating dancing and singing when there's so many problems? I'm like, because there's so many problems.
Right. Festival of Light. Right. So
Yeah, we can't be beneficial presences on the planet if we haven't healed ourselves up first. In order to be able to go out and do good in the world, there's a part of us that has to be that strength. And here we live in the richest country in the world where, we're not having bombs dropped on us. So let's do some work to be that beneficial presence and raise the joy, raise the positive, and be able to help, be able to be powerful and strong in the world. You know?
We're also chanting on the eve of the Indian festival of Diwali, which is also known as the Festival of Lights, and it's a festival that celebrates bringing light out of darkness.
Yeah.
And people light candles everywhere, and it seems an appropriate time to say, yeah, that's what we have to do. But that light's not going to come out of the darkness all by itself.
Right.
So
it's great. But with song, it certainly helps. Thank you again. Cheers, everybody. I'm Bonnie, and this has been Truth Be Told Transformation. We're here with new episodes every week to share the light, to really encourage you to know that by taking care of you and bringing your own brightness, you can shine it out there to everybody. And I'm so grateful that Tony Sweet has given me this platform. Don't forget, Tony has a show, Truth Be Told. The original Truth Be Told has been on over 10 years now. We've got an amazing archive of interviews. Catch him Fridays live at 3 p.m., okay? And then Robert Hensley also doing amazing work with many episodes on the Minuteman Report. We are Truth Be Told on Club Paranormal. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast, but be sure to make sure that your friends know about it as well. Like us, share us, and we'll see you the next time. Shine on until then.